Hello and thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, the Eagles of death metal lead singer speaks about the night terrorists opened fire at his concert in Paris ahead of their return to the French capital. Chinese artist Ai Weiwei covers a Berlin landmark in thousands of life jackets to highlight the plight of refugees risking their lives to reach Europe. And The Revenant rules at the BAFTAs. Thanks for joining us. The rock band who were playing in Paris's Bataclan concert venue the night of the November terror attacks will return to Paris this week to complete the concert they started that evening. 90 people were killed when gunmen opened fire on the audience of the Eagles of death metal concert. The band are playing the Olympia on Tuesday in a tribute to those who died. Survivors have been invited along. Solange Mougin has more.
I really think it's important that everyone knows what happened to our friends in there, and how beautifully, I know this sounds terrible, but I didn't see a single coward.
Remembering November 13th, the frontman of Eagles of Death Metal tells of the moment gunmen opened fire.
The very last note of the song, like almost a diabolical synchronicity. Bow, bow, pop, pop, pop. And I knew exactly what was going on.
Jesse Hughes describes how he fled and began to search for his girlfriend.
I went back up into the backstage area to look for her, and she wasn't there. And then I opened up a hallway, and when I went inside the hallway, there was a dude at the end of it holding a gun, and he didn't see me. And the door shut behind me, and I was trying to back up, like very sneaky, but he noticed me. And I thought I was dead, and I just waited for the shot to hit me. And when he went to pull his rifle down, the barrel of his gun hit the door frame. Thank God. And when it hit the door frame, I hit the door. And I opened the door, and he started firing, and his rounds shut the door behind me.
None of the band members were injured in the attack, but 3 months on, they're still traumatized.
I'm trying to really get as far from that feeling as I possibly can get, so that I don't see things when I wake up in the morning anymore.
The group has now resumed its tour of Europe. On Tuesday, they're set to play the Olympia in Paris.
There's a lot going into this. It's really, it's intense for everybody, and that's kind of what it's supposed to be, And it's not supposed to be easy.
No.
But I'm grateful that I get to do it.
Yeah.
The band had vowed to return to the French capital to complete their concert and to pay tribute to the 90 people who were killed at the Bataclan.
Chinese artist Ai Weiwei has covered a Berlin landmark with thousands of refugee life jackets for his latest installation. The striking display of 14,000 vests around the pillars of the city's concert house venue is the activist's latest attempt to highlight the scale of migrants taking to the seas every day. It's showing during the Berlinale International Film Festival. Chinese contemporary art is the focus of an exhibition at Paris's Louis Vuitton Foundation. 12 artists are showing their different ways of looking at modern-day China. Ellen Gainsford reports.
Don't be surprised if this artwork looks familiar. It's a reworking by Chinese artist SUZANNE, inspired by 2 sculptures on exhibition at the Louvre. Liu Xiaodong takes us to the China of his childhood, reviving this era with his realist paintings. Another piece to look out for, this sculpture created especially for the exhibition. It centers on disorder in urban landscapes. For Li Wei, an artist from Beijing, it's an allegory of modern China.
China is constantly evolving and is becoming more and more open. There are different trends in Chinese and Western art, which will be strengthened in the future. There is something very brutal in Chinese art.
Rarely exhibited in France, Chinese art is not familiar to most Europeans. These 12 artists give a flavor of China's contemporary art scene. For the artistic director of the Louis Vuitton Foundation, Chinese art is going through an exciting period.
What's new for me is the emergence of some strong personalities. Also, that these young artists are able to travel the world, which wasn't the case before, and come back with a better understanding of Chinese identity today.
The Bento exhibition is on show until the 2nd of May. A little bit of China in Paris. It's a journey worth taking.
Wilderness drama The Revenant has dominated this year's BAFTAs. It was named Best Film, while Leonardo DiCaprio won Best Actor and Alejandro Inarritu Best Director. The ceremony at London's Royal Opera House on Sunday was hosted by Stephen Fry. Lauren Berstecker has more.
And the BAFTA for leading actor goes to Leonardo DiCaprio.
The night was really about one man. Leonardo DiCaprio took home the Best Actor award for his role in The Revenant and paid a touching tribute to his mother on her birthday.
I didn't grow up in a life of privilege. I grew up in a very rough neighborhood in East Los Angeles, and this woman drove me 3 hours a day to a different school to show me a different opportunity. It's her birthday today. Mom, happy birthday. I love you very much.
He is now a sweet favorite for the Oscars in 2 weeks, the one award that's eluded him for so long. The Revenant by Mexican director Alejandro Inarritu tells the story of Hugh Glass, a fur trapper who's forced to survive in the unforgiving wilderness of the American West. The film itself took away 4 other awards, including Best Picture. Best Actress went to Brie Larson for her role as a young mother trying to protect her son in the film Room. Mark Rylance and Kate Winslet won Best Actor and Actress for their respective roles in Bridge of Spies and Steve Jobs. With a hint of irony, Winslet dedicated her prize to a teacher who once told her to only go for the fat girl roles.
Any young woman who has ever been put down by a teacher or a friend or even a parent, just don't listen to any of it, because that's what I did.
Immigrant film Brooklyn won Outstanding British Film, while The Big Short and Spotlight, about a newspaper investigation into sex abuse in the Catholic Church, won Screenplay Awards. Amid the Oscar controversy about diversity in cinema, 3 black actors were honored in this year's BAFTAs. Veteran Sidney Poitier was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Prize, while Beast of No Nation star Idris Elba and Star Wars hero John Boyega were nominated, with Boyega winning the Rising Star Award.
A costume company which has worked on dozens of Oscar and BAFTA-winning films, countless theatre productions, and served almost every notable actor spanning 7 generations was recognised in its own right at the BAFTAs. After 175 years of stage and screen, Angels picked up a special award. Alfred Hitchcock, Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg are among the dozens of directors the company's worked with. Joe Sinclair reports.
In this warehouse in North London, Tim Angel navigates a labyrinth of costumes, hung on more than 8 miles of rails.
Here we've got a costume that Maggie Smith wore, Dame Maggie Smith wore in Lady in the Van. And the shoes, these shoes which she wore were my mother-in-law's, so all our clothes end up in stock.
The Angels family business started in 1840, originally selling used clothes. 7 generations on, the firm boasts the world's largest private collection of costumes for film, theatre and television. It supplied the wardrobe for 36 Best Costume Oscar winners. And now, Angels is receiving its own award at Britain's version of the Oscars, the BAFTAs, for outstanding contribution to cinema.
I'm actually over the moon because we're always the bridesmaid, we're never the bride. So for once in 175 years, the company is getting the recognition that it deserves, because without places like this, you wouldn't have films.
The warehouse contains more than 1 million costumes that have featured in films including Star Wars, Indiana Jones and Elizabeth. Some 120 staff look after the garments, and with no filing system, they rely on memory to keep track. New clothes are constantly being created to add to the rails.
We do make some costumes for Wicked, and they can take up to 21 days, 22 days. They're so elaborate. then you can be a little shift dress, and that can take a day.
The outside world may be increasingly high-tech, but here it's the historical that's most in demand. And while theatre has always been in need of vintage clothing, it's TV period pieces that are now more than ever proving popular.
It's a gold mine. If we didn't have somewhere like Angels to have such a great resource, it would be really difficult, you know, to have stuff made up. It would cost so much money.
At 66, Tim is preparing Angels for the next generation. 3 of his children work alongside him here. A tale of succession and success. A family saga fit for the big screen.
Now we're going to wrap up with designer Diane von Furstenberg's new collection presented at New York Fashion Week. Instead of a traditional runway show, she turned her New York City headquarters into a dance party with supermodels dancing through the crowd. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.